risers, here's a fun video with Pudge, who's a horse that came in for training. And this is a while ago now. I just took a little time to get his video posted, but I wanted to go over some of the exercises we did to really help him with his confidence. When he came in for training, the primary goal for him was to be a safer horse to be around, to be more comfortable with trail riding and cantering, because he just tends to hold a fair bit of tension and can be a bit spooky and startly. Even though he's a super sweet personality, he's just looking at everything, and you can kind of see how he's looking out the door, but nothing like horrible or awful that Pudge does, just more that he needed a little bit more exposure, a little bit more time to realize that he could be confident in these situations. And when he first came, he even struggled with walking over poles, like just being able to cross over things. So something as simple as just being able to walk over that single pole, walk past the door without needing to, startle or wonder what the heck was going on out there, were all big steps for him in the kind of the direction of where we wanted him to go. When he was ready, we started to bring him out onto trails. And so that's him there leading out front, and then more horses behind him. So he wasn't leading the whole trail because I'm in front of him, but in general, he went on different spots on the trails. And we're lucky because our trails, like those are some dirt bikes that we ended up passing by, and there were different people we had to pass by, people walking dogs and different cars and things. And there's these electrical boxes that have noise associated with them. So there's a bunch of different options on our trails that we could expose him to. But the key here is that he went with very quiet, chill horses, because horses definitely have mirror receptors, which means that they will mimic whatever's going on within the herd. So if the people are nervous, then they can mirror that. But if the other horses are nervous, they'll also mirror that. And here, when I got off Teddy so I could lead him through the puddle and the water there, and you can see Pudge is just going right through the water, following along, which is great. So he's getting lots of different exposure out on the trails. And then inside, we did many different things with him to try to help him get exposed to noises, things moving. So something like this, where Katie is literally just kicking the barrel around, and the pushing is creating noise because it's kind of crinkling and moving, and you tap the barrel, it's hollow, so it's got a hollow sound. And then now while Katie's riding, now I'm kicking that barrel around, and I'm getting to that place where I kick it more assertively and even sometimes towards him. And he's like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, things happen at this farm, which are a little bit weird, but different things happen. And so he ends up doing really well with that. And it kind of goes to show you how you can introduce things slowly and a little bit step by step for your horse. Like in this case, we started with the groundwork, starting at a bit of a distance before progressing to doing things towards the horse. And of course, my energy as the person doing those things is not thinking like I need to make you move. And then as we progress in different speeds, like here, he's working on some trotting, we would work on one thing at a time. So for example, cantering was something that they wanted him to have more practice with. So we started with just cantering only, like not really doing much else other than cantering him before adding in other distractions or noises or other things going on. First, just allowing him to feel the rider and move and just get more confidence with a person cantering on his back before stepping up the level of difficulty. Because it's about making sure you have relaxation and understanding before adding in more difficulty, only training one thing at a time. The same way that if you were learning something, that it's hard to learn multiple things at the same time. That if somebody's trying to teach you math but also have a distraction going on, you could be very not focused. But once doing math seems easy for you, then it's easier to tune out those distractions, which is what we're doing here, is essentially building up his confidence in that canter to a place where then we can start to do things a little bit more with him. So here Katie's starting to collect Pudge a little bit more, because in the beginning, just cantering, allowing him to move and go at his own pace. And then now starting to say, hey, could you do that a little slower? Could you bring your weight onto your bum just a little bit more? It still comes out, a little bit hollow, like with his head up in the air, and that's okay because when we're learning things can be messy and we can't expect perfection all the time. We have to make sure we allow them to have some of that freedom to move, freedom to explore, as well guiding them a little bit along the way. So that was the right lead canter that we did, and now this is the left lead going around. And when we're working indoors, one of the key things here is that we can control the environment to try to the best of our ability, so that way it's not going to have some triggering stacking effect going on with him. So for example, if we're doing a first canter with a horse, we usually try to do it on a day when it's not ridiculously windy or rainy, or maybe there's a thunderstorm going on, because then we can't control when a big gust of wind might slam the door at the side or have a big crack of lightning or something like that. And we want to make sure that we try to keep it kind of calm and quiet, let the horse feel us out before we add in other things. And the super cool thing about technology these days is that we can do something like play noises on our phones. So if we have a horse that tends to get worried when there's rain going on, we can actually go on YouTube or something and pull up the sounds of a thunderstorm or a big rain, and then that way we can play it from our phone. It's a super great, it's like one of the perks of technology these days, is that we can use that to our advantage when we're helping horses gain more confidence in different situations. So this here is now adding in a flag with movement. So we showed you how in the beginning doing some sessions where we were just letting him feel us and move with us, and then now adding speed with something else that's going on. And so in this case, it's a flag, which sometimes touches his bum, like there, as you're coming around, the speed kind of gets the wind a little bit, or I shouldn't say the wind because it's not wind in the arena, but catches that air and blows onto his bum. Sometimes it's at his side, so it moves a little bit around. And same things, we try to be progressive in the sense of we're holding it, then we're moving it around, there she drops it. So we try to let it do different things, but gradually and slowly. Another example is we love using stuffed toys. They're one of my favorite things for using with horse training because they are soft. They're not going to injure the horse. They can't wrap up around the horse's legs or something if they paw it or something like that. It's not something that they can get caught in. Unlike sometimes people use hula hoops or they use other types of things with horses that you do have to be careful about, even like a tarp. For example, if a horse paws at a tarp, that can get wrapped up around their leg or they can punch a hole in it and get stuck in it. Whereas stuffed toys, they're great. They come in all sorts of shapes, sizes, colors, but they're soft. There's nothing to hurt. I haven't experienced static electricity, like accidentally shocking a horse with one either, which is all super important to just build their confidence with. You can pick up things, it can move around, it can touch them. And then we bring out the corgis, the fluffy little corgis. So now we add that layer of unpredictability where the dogs, they run around. You don't really know which direction they're going, but they're kind of like little stuffed toys. They're just kind of moseying around, doing in their own thing. And then we've got different obstacles like the pool noodles. So the first layer was going through the pool noodles that have that little, we've kind of made that little divide in them so the horse can go through and just establish the pattern of getting through to the other side. And then now he's being faced with the pool noodles that are standing straight up. And he's like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather go to the other pool noodles where there's a gap in them. This is more difficult. And he starts and then he kind of goes and he really goes. So we want to stop and praise and tell him like he's a good boy. And then we want to repeat until we have relaxation and understanding. So I don't really use a magical number of times that you must repeat an exercise. Instead, for me, it's do it until the horse is relaxed and understanding. And interesting, as he goes through there, you can see where the front feet, relatively confident, and then the hind feet, as soon as it touches the hind feet, he tends to scoot off afterwards. So we're just doing calm repetition. Of course, every time after he goes through, he gets a lot of praise, usually stops and gets a cookie after getting that praise on the neck as well. But Katie's doing a great job of trying not to snatch him in the mouth when he goes through. The first time she accidentally did a little bit because wasn't expecting that big of a reaction. But in general, we try to allow the horse to move through. and then repeat, and he gets that cookie. And now it's looking a lot better. So let me know what you think of Pudge and those training techniques. Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.